Hi everyone, it's me, Krylios, Team Racing Productions MC and producer. And joining me today is Jordan Constant Sumter. Welcome.
Yes, thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here.
It is awesome to have you here with us today. And to get things started off, we always like our guests to introduce themselves to our audience and let them know a little bit about your background and experience. So let's begin with that.
Absolutely. So, as said before, my name is Jordan Constant Sumter. I'm the founder and executive director of a nonprofit called Safe Space Nova. We provide positive programming for LGBTQ youth across all of Northern Virginia, Alexandria, Arlington, Fairfax County, Prince William County, and Loudoun County as well. In terms of my background, I am a clinical social worker and an aspiring therapist. So right now I'm in residency to get the hours needed so that I can get licensed and become a therapist for our LGBTQ youth and the greater LGBTQ community.
Amazing, amazing. That is such good work. Tell me what kind of led you into this part of your life. What kind of led you down the road to when it comes especially to LGBTQ advocacy and mental health and all of that. Tell me what led you down that road.
Well, absolutely. So, as a young queer man myself, I'm originally from Atlanta, Georgia, and growing up there and trying to figure out what my sexual orientation identity was, which is extremely difficult. And I found myself at times anywhere between the ages of, I'd say, probably like 8 all the way up to maybe 18, felt like I was just really alone and there was nobody to speak to or confide in. It was not something talking about being a member of the LGBTQ community was something that was not acceptable in my family as well as in my community. So oftentimes just felt alone. It wasn't until I got into high school and I found some other people who were also questioning that I felt a little bit more comfortable and felt like I had somewhat of a group. And we progressed. I go through college in Washington, D.C. and decided to stay in the area. And I spent a number of years, well, starting in college and then thereafter, just mentoring and tutoring because I just love working with youth. It was something that just came about. And I said, I can keep doing this. I really like this. I want to give back to the community. And after doing that for some years, moved from Washington, D.C. to Northern Virginia, took a little break from mentoring and tutoring and came back and said, what bigger impact can I make? And I thought back to myself, that younger me, and said, what would I have loved to have had? And I would have loved some type of group, some type of organization that brings us together as LGBTQ youth, questioning all of that and say like, hey, you know what, this is affirming, accepting, safe space for
Mm.
you. We want to bring you together and say that you're not alone, you are loved, and you can make it to the other side of this. And that's how I came up with Safe Space Nova. We were founded in March 29th, 2016, and been going strong ever since with our programming.
Awesome. Now let's talk about some of that programming. What kind of programming have you all been a part of and been involved with since beginning Safe Space Nova?
Absolutely. So we have right now 3 programs. Our first one we initially started and is still going strong, is our social activities. We put together
Mhm.
different type of social activities around the area. We invite our youth in, we provide the supervision, we rent out the space, and they just come and get to be themselves. Some examples are we've done escape room, we've done a Marvel movie night, we've done miniature
Okay.
monster golf, we've done top golf. So some really cool events. Uh,
Hmm.
Another program we have is called You Plus Me Equals We Queer Sex Education, and
Hmm.
it's an inclusive sex education course for all sexual orientations, for all body
Yeah.
types. We're very inclusive, and we felt like the conversation was not being had even from a heterosexual standpoint as much when it
Hmm.
comes to the school system. So if you know you're not having as much for the heterosexuals, you're definitely not having it for the LGBTQ community. So we took it upon ourselves to say, let's put together some programming, and that's what we did there.
That is so important. That is so important. Really, really great. And what has the response been like,
Oh,
especially from the LGBTQ youth?
you know what? It's been overwhelming. I love it, love it, love it. Every person that we meet, every event that we go to and tell people about Safe Space Nova, they get excited. Why? Because we are the only organization in all of Northern Virginia that solely focuses on the LGBTQ youth. And we know that that's our most vulnerable when it comes to our community. So
Hmm.
knowing that they have a space now where they can come and do activities, and we're looking to
Hmm.
even expand further and do more programs for them. So
That is amazing. That is amazing. And that is so important for the Northern Virginia community, especially. That is so good that that is, that is there for the LGBTQ youth of Northern Virginia. Because many times there's a lot of stuff that are very DC specific, very that, but it's really important that this and safe spaces are so important for people to have. And one's growing and adolescence and all of that is kind of shaped by having certain safe spaces, and without those safe spaces many times those can be impacted as a result. And so to have people being able to come together to have like-minded folks,
Mhm.
people who they can socialize with, learn more from, and all of that is so important in the development, especially for the development of queer youth.
Absolutely. From a mental health standpoint, what we found in terms of research is that our LGBTQ youth experience more anxiety, more depression, suicidal
Mhm.
ideation. And the ways we combat that are to get them into these safe spaces, to let them know that they're not alone. And by doing that, we help lower the risk. This is why this is so important from a mental health standpoint that we have this organization here for the youth.
Certainly, certainly. And even during COVID, as you can see here, there were virtual events as well, so that people could be able to come and join and, to keep things going. Tell me about COVID and how you had to maybe adapt to new changes when it came to programming for Safe Space Nova.
Absolutely. So COVID did throw us a curveball. We were
Mhm.
in-person events, but what we did was moved our events online. So this allowed some level of access for you. Now, unfortunately, there are some of those in our community, a good number of those, rather, I should say, that don't are not out to their parents. That means that they are not aware. The parents and the family members may not be aware that they are part of the LGBT community, that
Mhm.
the youth may not have expressed that. So in circumstances like that, it may be more difficult to say, go into a room unless you're by yourself and you can be alone if you don't want other people to hear. But at the very least, we still wanted to find and make sure we had our watering hole, our gathering spot for our youth. So we did that all through COVID. And we've only transitioned to in person within the past couple of months. And we did that just so we were wanted to be extremely cautious while we
Mhm.
see our program is extremely important in the community. We also wanted to make sure that we were not part of any outbreaks. So yeah, but we're
Yes,
again
that is certainly
expanding.
important. Yes, yes. Now, looking forward and looking into the future, what can people expect coming from Safe Space Nova? Any teases or anything you want to give us for anything upcoming?
Well, I can tell you that we've got our first physical space because we rent space as we've needed it, but we got our first footprint this year, which is extremely
Awesome.
exciting for us. So we're going to
Yes.
start hosting events there. And our long-term goal is to have a drop-in space for the youth where we have all of these programs available. And after school, you can come by and say, maybe I want to hang out with my friends and watch a movie, play video games, or maybe I want to get tutoring. Maybe I want to get counseling. Maybe I want to participate in an activity that's already been pre-scheduled. So I want to have this space so they can come just be amongst them, their peers and feel comfortable. So that's our goal long term.
That is awesome. So if people wanted to find out more about Safe Space Nova, they wanted to keep up with all the updates, keep up with everything you do, and to, find out more about resources and stuff, and maybe even to donate or volunteer, how are they able to do that?
Absolutely. You can find us. You can go to our website at www.safespacenova.org. You can also find us on social media on Facebook, on Twitter, and Instagram at Safe Space Nova. So multiple ways to get in contact with us.
Awesome. And we're going to have those links in the description below so that our audience can go ahead and check that out. Jordan, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been such a pleasure getting to chat with you. And thank you so much for the important work you do in our communities.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Certainly, what a pleasure. Please, once you're watching, continue to follow us, Team Racine, on all forms of social media. That's at Team Racine. And click around our YouTube channel, check out our other interviews, vlogs, forums, and more. And while you're at it, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. But most of all, thank you for watching. Bye, everyone.